안녕하십니까. 글로벌 모니터 안근모입니다. 호주 중앙은행이 정책금리를 4.10%로 25bp 내렸습니다. 이번 사이클에서 첫 금리 인하 결정입니다. 최근 물가 안정세가 뚜렷하게 확인됨에 따라서 당초 예상했던 것보다 금리 인하 개시 시점이 좀 앞당겨졌습니다. 달러의 기세가 좀 꺾인 것도 금리 인하 개시에 힘을 보탠 것으로 보입니다. 다만 추가 금리 인하에 대해서는 굉장히 조심스러운 태도를 보이면서 물음표로 남겨놨습니다. 미셸 블록 호주 중앙은행 총재 기자회견 주요 장면을 함께 보시겠습니다.
As you know, the board decided today to cut the cash rate by 25 basis points to 4.1%. In December, we said we'd gained confidence that things were headed in the right direction. The board judges it's time to reduce a little bit of that restrictiveness, but we cannot declare victory on inflation just yet. It is not good enough for inflation to be back in the target range temporarily. The board needs to be confident that it is returning to the target range sustainably. There's also a lot of uncertainty around the global outlook at the moment. One of the things we're cautious about is the possibility that policy unpredictability could lead to slower growth. But at the moment, it's too soon to tell. For these reasons, I want to be very clear that today's decision does not imply that further rate cuts along the lines suggested by the market are coming. As I noted, we've removed the cautionary increase that we did in November 23 to a level that we still see as restrictive. But the board needs more data and evidence that inflation is continuing to decline before making decisions about the future path of interest rates. The board is very alert to upside risks that could derail the deflationary process. I know that some other central banks have cut interest rates quite sharply over the past year, but we have taken a different strategy to most. Our policy rate was not raised as much as many countries overseas. We judged that while inflation expectations remained anchored, we could take a bit longer to bring inflation back to the target band, but we could keep unemployment lower. The board will continue to look to the data to see if the economy and inflation continue to evolve as expected.
What other factors, particularly from offshore, with these tariff threats as well, could force your hand to raise rates?
So the tariff threats and what's going on overseas, it's very uncertain and probably even worse, it's unpredictable. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, so we can't sort of make specific plans. What we probably can say is that in a particularly bad case, it would be bad for economic activity and possibly China, and that wouldn't be good for us. What it means for inflation is slightly different because it could mean higher inflation in some countries due to tariffs. So it very much depends on how it plays out in terms of, well, what actually gets implemented and then how people respond to those things. But I think we are thinking about it in the longer term. We're trying to not focus on the noise. We're trying to think, well, what sort of things might impact activity and impact us? And what might the impacts be on inflation? So that's sort of the things we're thinking about, but we really don't know yet. It's still a movable feast.